If I find you attractive, if I liked it, if I really liked you, if I really am in love with you, you better be in love with me back. It's gonna become a point that I'm gonna wind up hurting a female because I ain't gonna put up with this crap. They're lucky I'm not that type of fun. You already know I'm a hater. Since any girl I'm interested in already been taken, so I don't get the things so I don't have them. Every time I try to follow females on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they don't want to follow me back.
Once you treat a woman like she's your property, that's when she feels dominated. She will love you so much more. She will respect you so much more. And she wouldn't have to fantasize about another man on top of her whenever she has her eyes closed.
But I genuinely don't enjoy talking to or spending time with women, bro. I really don't, dude. I really don't. And then you're going to get some idiots in here. Whoa, are you gay? See, that's how I know a lot of you guys got a scarcity mindset. When you're around women all the time and you get girls, you start to quickly realize how useless they are.
Today, we're going to talk about cells, and not just any type of cells, all right? Not stem cells, super cells, splinter cells, or perfect cells. We're talking about incels. Involuntarily celibate men. The men who deem themselves undesirable, unfit for a relationship, and pretty much hopeless. And we're going to talk about why it's destroying an entire subset of men. When it comes to the ideology of an incel, it's pretty nihilistic. They believe that all male and female attraction is determined by looks and genetics, and that the system is fixed. If you're chopped, you're pretty much fucked. And there's no escape. Accompanied with the fallacy that all women are shallow and manipulate men. But they really put an emphasis on this thing called sexual marketplace value, with your worth being tied to your level of desirability, where men who are conventionally attractive are selected and all of the leftovers get rejected. The chosen ones are called chads, a name that's also used a lot within red pill spaces. Go figure. There's a lot of overlap between red pill as we know it today and the space incels find themselves in, which is called the black pill, or getting blacked. Like and subscribe for more corny jokes. And this is an extreme offshoot of the red pill ideology. So if we had to draw a comparison between the two, we can say that red pillers believe that even though the system is unfair, I can still improve myself, minus the other shit that they say. Black pillars believe that no matter what they do, a woman will never want them, and being an incel is predetermined by women's preferences. The system is unfixable, and I am powerless. The incel community is very isolated, tight-knit, and mainly operates online. And when you hear of the male loneliness epidemic, you can probably picture someone who might identify themselves as part of that community or on their way. You usually find that men who are too deep into the red pill ideology and MGTOW, which is men going their own way, sometimes end up here. And these men usually lack positive male influences, suffer from depression or other ailments, have social anxiety, lack basic in-person interaction, and just can't or are unwilling to find a woman that loves them. And that spirals into that man becoming self-loathing, which leads to extreme vulnerability. And this is where misery loves company, because when you're vulnerable, you tend to seek out others who share the same experience as you or give you some sort of validation that you're in the right headspace, which drags you deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And before you know it, you look up and you end up like this guy.
I'm a real true believer in the black pill. I really am an incel. It's backed up by data and statistics. I believe you're laughing at me, but the university studies and the dating app data does not lie. I've had sex like a year. Last time was like December, so I guess a year. It was a homeless girl I knew it was a homeless girl that I knew from high school. Her name was and she was kind of not mentally there as well. So I don't know if we attracted each other that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she ended up pushing me out a window.
Right.
Yeah.
How much do you watch?
As much as you think.
I don't know. I'm asking you a question. I'm not going to assume.
I don't know. Probably like a few times a week. I know. I'm a coomer. I'm guilty as charged. Because of looks inflation, the social media got these girls thinking they're making bucks.
Okay. Oh, well, adjust, adapt, become a better man.
Yes, sir.
Or give up. More Tyrone. You can watch more. Since you like Tyrone so much, you can watch him have sex. Since you like that.
Food on straight women now because I don't like seeing full-on guys doing that to women anymore.
So you watch what now? What do you watch now? What do you watch?
It's not gay if you only watch them plow the cis girl, the Fuda, the tranny plow the girl.
Man, you see what your life has come to, bro?
It's fucking over, bro. It's fucking over.
Sad.
It's over, bro.
This is what black pill. This is the representation of the black pill. They always trying to fight me.
I really am the embodiment.
You're the representation of them.
And if you're not bold enough to put yourself online, you might dabble in forums obsessing over the size of your manhood, or you might end up finding a home at incels.is. And this website is interesting because we can really take a peek behind the curtain to see the unfiltered thoughts of an incel. And yeah, some of it's pretty dark. I'm not going to read them all in full, but I'll leave them on the screen if you want to read through it on your own. Exhibit A. I wish I could pass away in my sleep. I don't know my place in the world nor what to live for, and that's not an abnormality, but a feature when you consider the circumstances of my birth. My dysgenic as inbred dad was never fit to reproduce, yet his stupid ass did so anyway, seeing it as a rite of passage. He spawned larvae, not once, but twice, and takes zero accountability for it. Exhibit B. Brutal beach pill. Incels should avoid the beach at all cost. Women in full-on butt floss thongs showing off. I swear to God, it's not like swimwear growing up. Bitches these days have absolutely no shame about full-on showing ass cheeks and butt floss in public. It's just too much. It makes no sense that children can see these in a thong in public, but you put Melina in a thong in a modern video game, you're an incel and should. Shirtless low-nib chads. Not only do they have these skanks running around, you have chads with 8-packs everywhere, making sure you feel their genetic superiority. These hooligans often work out in public like circus performers, only instead of tips, they want sex. Massively wealth-mogged. On top of the massive looks and low-nib mogging, everyone in the beach is insanely rich. They all showed up to the beach in Porsches, and the beaches are lined with houses that are over $10 million inhabited by low-nib boomer degenerates that have spiritual 30 years younger than them barbecuing shrimp in bikini, as well as all those cocaine yacht degenerates. Exhibit C. Foids are not emotionally intelligent. Foids swear on life itself. They have so much emotional intelligence and are the emotionally tuned gender, but when it comes to actually putting that so-called emotional intelligence into action, you see the exact opposite. They burst into pure anger over the smallest things. They bash you and go below the belt instead of sticking to the topic at hand. They cannot for the life of them express their emotions clearly. They use indirect cues instead of telling you how they actually feel about something. And if you dare have a critique to give her, good luck, because they cannot handle criticism. If you tell them something they did wrong that you didn't like, you will never see her take any accountability whatsoever for her actions. They'll either ignore or straight up never admit they're wrong. Foids are They think emotional intelligence equals being more emotional when it's literally the opposite. And Exhibit D, which is by far the worst because, yeah, this is bad. Male are actually more benevolent than foids because they actually have no ulterior motives. The foid is the one and only motive for both the non. Foids are the ones having ulterior motives since they plan to get something out of you, even by faking love and care. Yeah, this is pretty much where their mind is at. This is probably the deepest, darkest place of nihilism and depression you could possibly be, outside of going out into the world and harming someone else because you feel this way. But you can easily go to this website and see their beliefs about life, themselves, how they feel about women, and much, much more. You'll even find some of the words they use to describe people from outside of the community. For example, foid, which is a shorthand version of femoid, which combines female and humanoid and pretty much dehumanizes women and implies that they're robots with predictable, shallow behavior. The term sub-8 is used a lot as well, which refers to an incel being less than an 8 in looks on a scale from 1 to 10. Rope, which means self-deletion. Chads, a good-looking man or a man with money. a Stacy, which is a desirable woman, a Becky, which is an average woman, mogging, looks maxing, beta, gooning, and ER, which is a reference to Elliot Rodger, who is responsible for a mass event in Santa Barbara, California in 2014. There's way more, but I'm done torturing you. For now. It's a lot, man. In a strange way, it's made me somewhat empathize with them, but only from the aspect of depression. That other shit is just crazy. But as someone who has a history with depression, I can understand the feeling alone, or feeling like no one understands, or feeling like you're behind in life, or like you don't measure up to some standard you've made up in your head, or everything feeling dark on a bright, beautiful, sunny ass day, right? So I can understand how someone could let themselves slip into this mind state. But it comes to a point where you have to recognize you may need some form of help. Not a forum, echo chamber, not a content creator, not a book, legit professional help. And that takes a lot of letting go of pride to admit. And reading these posts about men who want to end it all just puts me in a weird headspace. And it does that because I've had one of my close friends take his own life due to depression. Had everything going for him. Played D1 football, had a loving family, had a girl, but no outlet for how he was truly feeling. All that to say, even though a situation was on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're falling into this depression and this black-pilled incel mindset, please get help. Do not crash out. Find a real trained professional to talk to. You have a lot to live for. So we know these men have issues, and we know this is a growing problem. After doing some research, we find that loneliness as a whole between both genders has been studied since the 1950s, but the first official scale for loneliness was introduced in 1978 at UCLA. And from that point up until the Big C happened a few years ago, where there was a temporary spike for obvious reasons, loneliness was persistent but relatively stable for decades. However, Red pill ideology started emerging much later in the early 2000s, with black pill ideology developing in the late 2010s. There is some overlap with both timelines, especially considering the rise of social media, and research suggests that it's more about correlation rather than causation. People who feel socially isolated may be more susceptible to joining these types of communities. And when you have content creators reinforcing what you believe, this only amplifies and makes worse the situation you're in. Not to mention dating apps, the disappearance of third spaces, patriarchal norms, economic pressure, comparing your life and relationships to others, the constant fear of missing out or not having what's required to please someone else. More often than not, people we don't even fucking know and will never fucking meet. And really, if you're a young man in your early 20s, you don't even know yourself yet. You're still trying to come to terms with your identity. This creates a feedback loop which drives you further and further into darkness, especially if your mental health isn't the best it could be. That light at the end of the tunnel gets further and further and further away, no matter how fast you run, until ultimately you just stop running. And now you're black-pilled. And this is where you become a danger to yourself and potentially a danger to others. You start blaming external things you can't control, like women, or men that society may deem more conventionally attractive than you. I've even seen them blame their parents, society as a whole, strangers living their lives enjoying their day at the beach like we just saw. The list goes on, and it's as long as you can imagine. And sure, some of those things may be legit grievances, but at the end of the day, again, there needs to be some accountability taken for letting yourself get pulled that deep into this unhealthy, fatalistic ideology. But I'm not here to blame anyone. I'm just here to give perspective. On the bright side of things, there's actually a subreddit called Incel Solutions combating this ideology, with men trying to figure out how they can help themselves or help someone else that they know. It's really renewed my faith in society seeing this, to be honest. I noticed a lot of posts started with "I want to understand" or "I want to change," which indicates there's a strong will to change their perspective or someone else's who may be stuck in this incel mind state. And you can tell by the guidelines it's not some bullshit. It's actually meant to help struggling men. There's so many gems in here, man. There's so many gems. For example, this one that reads, "I want to understand how I can approach women without being creepy in college." And this one, "I want to change how I'm currently extremely isolated." And even this one from a woman, "I want to change how I view men. Definitely point someone to this subreddit if you feel they need it. At the very least, it's a step in the right direction if all else seems to be failing and they feel weird about talking with a professional. And you'll notice if you check the page out, a lot of these men are not even over the age of 25, some even teenagers getting trapped in these beliefs. So helping someone change as early as possible is absolutely the thing to do, since they're at the beginning stages of adulthood and actually open to change and new perspectives. There's other subreddits as well that might be useful, like the social skills Reddit page, X Red Pill, and Incel Exit. So take your pick. So if you're a man and you get nothing else from this video, or even a woman that's struggling, just know that it's not the end, okay? I don't care what your echo chamber is telling you. If you can, try and get out of your head, try and get out of your own way. There is a light at the end of the tunnel if, and only if, you're willing to change the way you perceive yourself and the world around you. Thanks for watching.
Yo, like